welcome back to First Watch, Rewatch, the podcast where one of us is seeing a TV show for the first time.
And the other one has already seen what is coming.
Absolutely. I am Sarah, this time on The Rewatch.
And I'm Tom, watching The Good Wife for the first time.
Today we are covering season 1, episodes 3 and 4, called Home and Fixed. You ready to dive in, Thomas?
So long as I don't have to be fixed, I think we're good.
That's not what we're talking about.
Yeah.
At all. Nope. Okay.
My mother would like some grandkids.
Oh, God. Let's move on. Let's move on. That is not what this...
A minute and a half in.
Oh, boy. I didn't start the chaos. That was you starting chaos. That was all you. It's been a while since we've done one of these.
2 weeks.
2 weeks. It's been a long time. And in that time, I've finished school. You've been on vacation. Yeah. Nothing's wrong. Everything is fine. Okay. So, our 2 episodes, let me give us a little rundown of these 2. So, episode number 3 is titled Home. It is directed by Scott Ellis, written by Dee Johnson, first aired on October 6th, 2009. Alicia returns to her old, upscale neighborhood to defend a former friend's teen son who is accused of murdering a security guard at a friend's house. The 18-year-old man admits that he was at the home but claims he's innocent of the crime. Carrie Agos is assigned to help Alicia with the case, even though he has never tried one in court.
Live reads are hard.
They are. I do them all the time. And notice I don't fall apart when I don't get it perfect. And then episode number 4 is Fixed, directed by Daniel Minahan, written by Todd Ellis Kessler. Original air date October 13th, 2009. And Alicia discovers evidence that a juror may have been bribed with $35,000 in a class action lawsuit against a major pharmaceutical company. Alicia's client was paralyzed after taking one of the company's drugs. Meanwhile, Peter's lawyer tries to get Alicia to help in her husband's defense and attempts to bribe her with gifts. Excellent. So, Tom, in general, overall, big picture, what stood out for you for these 2 episodes?
So I watched these 2 weeks ago. We were going to do it at that time and do a double recording, and then life got in the way. So I had to rewatch these again over the weekend. Mm-hmm. I'm still having trouble connecting with some of the characters. Okay. There are characters that I like. There are characters that I think I'm supposed to dislike, but they feel like somewhat stock characters. Okay. And I'm still not sure that I identify or understand or connect with any of the major characters yet. Okay.
So who are you had said last time, right, that you didn't, I don't think you said that you connected with anyone. Really, the one that you liked the most might have been Will?
I believe that's the case, and that remains the case.
Okay.
I think he's the most self-assured, the most confident.
Okay. You don't think Diane is confident?
Well, no. Actually, I don't.
Oh, okay.
I think it's... How to put this... No, I can't put this politely, so I'm just going to go right for it, and truth be damned. She's got woman cop syndrome.
Okay.
So... she's competing with what has normally been a man's quote-unquote job.
Right.
She's clearly capable of doing the job. Like, she's a brilliant attorney. When you watch her in episode 4, you get a idea for what she can do as a litigant and as a trial attorney. And she's capable. But she overcompensates a lot and feels like she has to double down on the parts that are more aggressive in herself to be understood and be felt in this world that is predominantly aggressive and male-dominated and patriarchal. And so, much in the same way, and there's a reason why I refer to it as woman cop, female cops very rarely feel comfortable in their own skin. Like, they feel like they have to put on this extra layer of effort to be taken seriously. And I feel that relates to a lot of women in higher-end places of profession. I think it's gotten better because there are more women involved in higher-end law firms or business companies, things of that nature. And as they've seen more women around them, I think they've been able to relax. But when you're one of the first ones out, and show me the other women at the top of this firm right now that, like, she can really relate to, when you're out front like that, you kind of have to. So I get where she's coming from, which is why I don't necessarily dislike her. I think I'm supposed to dislike her, but I understand it. And I can empathize with it, even if she makes some questionable decisions at best, in my mind. That being said, Will, I think, knows how good he is and doesn't feel like he has to prove it. And there's a difference.
So I have a question for you then about Diane. Because I understand the way that you are phrasing this and kind of categorizing her, and the idea that she has to be sort of this cold-hearted bitch, otherwise nothing's going to get done, right?
I don't even think it's so much as like a coldness. I think that's often mistaken for... That's what we project onto women, that they have this air of coldness. I don't think that's the case. I think she really does care about her client, about her case. Like, she's invested in things. So it's not a matter of being terse in that way. I made it seem, or my word for it was aggressive. I think she is aggressive in certain situations in a way she doesn't need to be.
Right. And I'm not saying with her clients. I'm saying more when she is talking to other lawyers, right? When she is trying to, in the firm, be more of a leader, or when she's in the courtroom, those types of things where she is having to perform in some way, not necessarily when she is planning things out in a more relaxed environment with her clients. Because here's kind of my question.
Okay.
You did speech and debate in high school.
Yep.
How many girls did speech and debate with you in high school?
On a percentage level, I think it was about 50-50.
Okay. Do you remember anything in particular about the girls who competed?
It was a small group, so there weren't a ton of us.
Sure.
So, I mean, I remember who was in speech and debate with me, if that's what you're asking. But if you're asking me any of their acts... No, but I don't remember. No. I think there's only one that I remember, and it was somebody we were competing against. I don't remember what I did.
That's not necessarily what I'm asking. I'm asking, like, what were they... Do you remember if they ever expressed that things were harder for them as young women, if they were treated differently, if they were up against... Did you have mixed gender teams, or was it, like... just girls competing with girls, that type of thing?
Yes, I think it was both. I think we had teams, but we also had gender-specific competitions, and then we'd have, like, doubles or something to that effect. It's hard for me to remember. I only did it for, like, a year and a half, maybe 2 years, and I don't remember a ton about it. Like, it was not big for our school. Our school was very tiny, so you didn't even really have to compete. You just basically signed up for it and you were involved. Okay. Which was like with sports with us. I signed up and I played on the baseball team, which meant I sat for every single game and took the scoring book for all 4 years of high school and got the golden pencil all 4 years of high school.
Okay. Got it. So I have taught speech and debate. I've never competed in speech and debate, but something that I noticed as a coach and then interacting with other people who have done a lot of speech and debate, or who are other coaches, and one of the and it's evolved even since I was coaching, where there were specific rules for female competitors. They had to wear skirts, they had to wear stockings, they had to do all of these things that was not, obviously they don't expect the boys to wear skirts, but they did not have the option, for example, of wearing trousers, even if it was a suit, right? So it was very, very, very rigid. Then there were additional expectations and things that, unfortunately, I had to coach my female students on, in that you are going to be perceived that you are being bitchy when you are being aggressive. And they will make emotional defenses against you and say that you are too emotional and can't give a non-hysterical answer because you're being aggressive in exactly the same way. And we need to make sure that you have tough skin. Like, I'm literally setting them up to be prepared to be eviscerated as women, right? They're going to make fun of you and mock you and all of these types of things. Judges are going to score you lower purely because you're girls and that type of thing.
So the way that the show presents Diane and how it's being acted, at least through the... I have not watched past 4. So let me be clear that I'm trying to watch these in the limited fashion. I'm trying not to watch ahead or get anything additional evidence, as is the point of the show. I think she is aggressive in 2 ways and towards 2 people. Alicia, because she sees her as a threat, and towards Will, because she's trying to remain an equal and doesn't feel like she can remain on the same footing without being a little extra assertive.
Okay. Do you... so here's my other question then. She's older than both of them. So... there's this part of me that feels like you shouldn't feel threatened. You are established.
I agree.
I can feel like I can understand the thing with Will. They're partners, but they have vastly different ways that they approach things, vastly different demeanors. Do you think that she's threatened by Alicia, or that she...
It's spelled out exactly that she's threatened in, like, the pilot episode, essentially.
Sure.
Will basically calls her on it, which I find it really odd, the way that this firm seems to operate. Like, I haven't seen 2 partners get together this often to make decisions on one partner's case, as is evidenced in episode 4. Like, it doesn't make... In a big firm like this, there's so much separation between people doing various different things. And frankly, the partners are very rarely going to be, like, the people actually in litigation in court. Like, certain firms, yes. When they're doing appeals or they're doing, like, really big cases, maybe. But outside of that, the named partners, like, neither one of them seems to be a managing partner who's running the day-to-day of this firm. It's just like, we're going to fly by the seat of our pants. We've got like 20 different other lawyers, and the only people that we're talking to are the 2 newest ones, one of which we're planning to cut. Like, the way that this firm works doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
It does feel like a reality competition show a little bit.
It
right?
feels more like a boutique or a niche firm as opposed to big law.
Right. Well, and I do not have any experience with big law.
Mine is very limited as well. Let me say that.
Right. Well,
my impressions are mostly from horror stories from other people.
Yeah. Well, right, because my dad was self-employed, and he has existed in offices with other lawyers, but they were never part of a firm.
The amount of partner crosstalk and, like, consultation on individual cases feels more like what my firm is, and my firm is not big law.
Got it. Yeah. Well, so Diane, complicated character then, but you just don't know how to feel about her right now.
No, I don't think I don't know how to feel about her. I think that they're presenting her as a foil, as somewhat of a villain.
Oh, okay. Yes.
And I don't necessarily feel that way. Like,
okay, she makes more sense to you than you think they're giving you credit for.
So these 2 episodes really started to try and flesh out that Carrie and Diane are supposed to be the villains.
Yeah.
The antagonist, like, group. Mm-hmm. And then Alicia and Will are supposed to be the rightful, truthful, hope, justice, and the American way people. And that's how we're going to fight this out.
Like my American Pie. Right here that Keely got me. Yeah. Okay. So, what do you think of Carrie, by the way? Because we saw him a little bit more these episodes.
We get a very specific example where Will, yet again, and I think some people have a talent for just, like, being able to eviscerate people with a very small subset. And when he drops by and they have that private conversation after hours, and he says, Alicia's a natural. She doesn't have to try so hard. And he clearly is taking a shot at Carrie. It's like, yeah, you've now exactly summed up his entire character. He's a tryhard. And I think that's why he gravitates towards Diane. Again, Diane is supposed to be the person that has to overcompensate, that has to work extra hard to be taken seriously, the marginalized type of character. And somehow in this, the cisgendered white guy of some level of privilege has become the marginalized figure that is the tryhard, whereas the woman who's been wronged and been out of legal practice for a while is somehow the person that's natural and comfortable and we're supposed to root for. I don't know. It reverses the gender roles on those two a little bit. So I do find that a little interesting, but it clearly, by the end of 4, is setting up this dynamic where Diane feels unethical and deceitful and whatever.
And why is that, though?
Because realistically, by the ethics rules, she's breaking about 4 of them by continuing to go on with the class action lawsuit. Because she cannot be a party to the furthering of the crime after the settlement, if she only learns after the fact that the jury tampering happened, and because I don't know otherwise to say that she knew about it before that and she helped with the play acting of this so that it got thrown out, let's assume that as it was presented in the episode, in episode 4, that she didn't know about it until Alicia told her. She still can't take up the class actions because she's doing it based on this verdict that shouldn't have happened. She should be dumping out of the entire file. The ethics rules demand that you basically let go of all of that because continuing on with this would be a version of a fraud. You're essentially committing further crimes as a result.
Okay. Right. And so the whole question is that there's this potential bribery, right? And they think that it's the other side, the defense, right, that has bribed the jury. We have, like, racial profiling going on in this episode. I mean, very explicitly, you bring me in to box people in according to their race. We have Calinda going and doing insane, like, investigating to try to figure... I mean, she's going to, like, great lengths to do investigations. And then, of course, we find out at the end that it was the good guys, right, who bribed the foreman and not the defense. So, meaning that Alicia's side and explicitly Diane's side, right, they were not them specifically, but their clients bribed the foreman. So at the end of that episode, and Alicia is saying to Diane, this is wrong, and Diane's like, no, we follow the law, everything is fine. And she
if she were following the law, she wouldn't have done what she did. That's bullshit. That's basic ethics in law school.
So, yes, so you are correct. At the end of that episode, it is set up for us to really not trust Diane.
Correct.
and all of that. And the reveal that it is their clients who have done, I mean, they're smug about it, right? And Alicia feels like she's been taken for a ride. It's a little bit unclear, though, whether or not Diane assisted in.
Correct.
That.
I'm going to assume for right now, lacking better evidence, that she did not. Because that's how it was presented.
Yeah.
But if she did, then it's even worse.
It's even worse.
Because now she doesn't have privilege, she doesn't have confidentiality, because she furthered in the effort of breaking the law. So she's in kind of why am I drawing a blank on Trump's former lawyer? Mr. Trump. Michael something.
I don't.
It doesn't matter.
Make it a habit to know what his lawyers are.
That's fine. It's Michael something. He was a New York lawyer. I can picture him, but I can't think of his last name. It doesn't actually matter. But the point is that Michael Cohen. Anyway, he was helping Trump commit crimes, and so he ended up taking a plea bargain because, as part of it, if you are part of the conspiracy, you are not protected by the law as the lawyer outside of it. So if she was involved in the bribery scandal or whatever else, now she's suspect to a whole other sort of things. And anybody else who touched the case is equally like a part of this whole thing and could be charged. So there's a whole lot there that's underneath the surface. But if we're just taking it at face value, realistically, she should be returning the money. She should be declining a fee and not representing them any further and not representing the class action.
Okay. That's something that I never even considered. Like, I didn't even take it that far. Right.
Well, this is the difference between having taken ethics in law school. Like that. Now, realistically, is any attorney going to return that fee? No. But if you're following the law, the ethics rules demand that you should be declining the fee and then like withdrawing from everything.
So then here's my other question for you. It is ambiguous, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you're saying we're deciding that she didn't know. But it's ambiguous enough, do you think, that audience members can take that leap and think, like,
absolutely.
She did know? And so, on purpose, do you think we're maybe supposed to feel like,
yes,
what else is she doing wrong? Yeah.
Yes, okay. That's how this character is being set up right now. Okay. Again, and it's like a lot of one-sided legal dramas. So when you have Law and Order, for example, like the opposition is the defense lawyers and the criminal and whatever else. You don't have inter-party fights. But when it's all this stuff going on inside one firm, you either have rivalries within the firm or you have an antagonist from the outside. Mm-hmm. Right now, because we're getting flavor of the week, we don't have a recurring villain or something else. The antagonist is within the firm. So they're setting up Carrie and Diane as one pairing versus Will and Alicia. Like, that's rather obvious. And these two episodes go to highlight the differences. But it's also trying to set Alicia on this path where she feels extra isolated from everybody around her.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm, for sure. So then, across these two episodes, we also have Calinda. A big time in episode 4. But we see her go with Alicia to her old neighborhood to figure out what's going on with this young kid and this supposed murder and stuff. Tell me what you think of Calinda by the end of episode 4 and what you've seen of her.
I feel like we're supposed to like her, but I don't feel like I know that character well enough yet to connect with her. We haven't gotten this like humanizing moment with her that allows us a little bit of space and time to kind of figure out who she is. And it feels at times like she's willing to be friendly with Alicia, but then she's definitely disagreeing with her on certain things. She doesn't want to get close to clients, which I get. Like, I have a certain aloofness or an armor that I build up with my own clients out of necessity because they get to go and react however they want, and that's the most important thing for them. I got to move on to the next hearing, the next appointment, whatever else, and move between these and to be effective at my job, because each one of them demands that I be the best that I can be. Right. And if I'm emotionally invested in one case to the detriment of others, that's not fair. So in order to try and do that, I have to remain a little bit aloof. So I get where she's coming from with that. But by the same token, there isn't anything where we've had this reveal or this extra information. I feel there's going to be an episode on each one of them as we kind of go along, where it gives us more background on each one of these. That's normal TV, where you get like a Calinda facing episode that it's like really involved, and you get, because we've gotten a couple of Alicia ones where it's like flashing back, especially the home episode. I felt like that was really to signal what her past life was and the differences between the two and where her children are at. But I feel like we're going to get a Diane episode. We're going to get a Will episode. We're going to get a Carrie episode somewhere in the course of this season. And so then maybe after that, I will feel differently about that character. But right now, I really don't feel anything. It's not a dislike. It's not a like. She's there to help further the plot right now.
Mm-hmm. And she's not... Yeah, I mean, we really just see her doing her job. The only sort of human thing we have is her telling Alicia that they need to drink certain types of cocktails and stuff when they win or
She's whatever. A bit of a MacGuffin character.
Ah, yes. Yes, she is. The only other information we have about her, I mean, she's young and I think she's devastatingly attractive. It's kind of distracting for me.
Okay.
I remember thinking that the first time I watched it, I was just like, "Oh, she's beautiful." Is that she doesn't like Peter, right? That they kind of clashed when they would come across each other. Obviously, she's an investigator. Was state's attorney, so they're not necessarily working together. But yeah, so. And then we also have where Alicia is, remember, she tries to go get this information about this bracelet that she finds, and her husband gave it to her, but he doesn't, she basically verifies that he did not buy it, even though he gave it to her, which is implications that he has taken bribes, or that had been alluded to, that he had taken bribes from people as state's attorney. And then, of course, his dumb attorney, Daniel, who's Miles Dyson in T2, by the way.
And is also the dad of, why am I drawing a blank on her name? But from Scandal, the main character's dad.
Don't watch Scandal. I've never watched Scandal, so I don't
it's
know.
It's all right.
So he's trying to bribe them.
Yeah. It just got so further away from the end of the plot that I think about 6 seasons in, I'm like, all right, I think I've gotten enough of this.
Of Scandal? Yeah, okay.
Yeah. It jumped the shark at some point, and I'm just like, all right, I'm good.
Okay. Okay. Anything in particular that you want to point out that, like, stood out to you that we haven't mentioned so far?
I don't understand the course of what the fuck is going on with Peter's case.
Okay.
So let's discuss this for a little bit. We already discussed last episode that supposedly within 6 months he goes from resigning as state's attorney to having a full trial to being in prison. And now we're going up to an appeal, like, really quickly. Mm-hmm. And they're supposed to be putting all of this evidence together. Appeals are not about, like, putting testimony and extra stuff together. I don't understand. Like, who are the legal consultants on this shit?
I don't know.
The appeal is based on matters of law and whether you have an issue of how the trial was mishandled or something else. Why would she need to testify after the trial's already been done? That makes no sense whatsoever.
Do you think that they are maybe treating it as if it is the initial trial, but, like, forgot that they said that it was an appeal?
It's like they retconned all of this shit.
Okay, because was it only in the first episode that they said that
I don't remember.
Okay, because to me, I agree. Every time they talk about it, it feels to me like this is the first time that they are addressing all of these things, and that he's been in jail for 6 months. Not that they're. I think you're right.
But there's dual problems with that, because it was a nonviolent offense. Okay. He's very popularly known, or at least, like, if she found out about his affairs on CNBC, I think it was, or whatever it was, like, he's a very public figure. He can't really run anywhere. They'll take his passports. His money's going to be frozen. So he's no flight risk. And again, nonviolent offender. They probably would have given him a decent bail. So if his trial hasn't happened, he wouldn't be in jail. But they need him in jail. So the trial has to have already happened somehow. But also, it has to have not happened. So they are trying to have it both ways. It makes no sense.
Is it okay? Do you think it's okay? What are your understandings of his actual crimes, though?
Supposedly, it's for making false statements as a public official, which also isn't necessarily a crime.
Okay.
Like, yes, if he took bribery, but that's factors for removal from office. Very rarely is that ever going to be prosecuted.
Well, it's not going to put you in jail.
They literally had a federal judge on tape accepting a bribe for cash in a paper bag, no less, and he didn't get impeached and removed from office. So the state's attorney for Cook County accepting bribes, like, he would have been so insulated from all of this bullshit, and he would have resigned, and then people would have let it go away. And that would have been that. The whole fact that this prosecution makes zero sense to me. And then further, layer on all the legal inaccuracies of how this story is being unfolded.
Is it based on he got caught with prostitutes doing drugs?
I mean, I guess in 2009 that would have been a big deal because we hadn't had grab him by the pussy yet, but we're in a different era post-Trump. Let's say that.
I know we are, but so what I'm trying to figure out is, how did he end up in jail? And is it because my impression was always he's in jail because he was caught with prostitutes and he was caught doing drugs, and that the drugs were...
But then that doesn't make any sense with his appeal.
Sure, I'm just saying this is what my impression was, right? I'm not saying it makes sense. And that he was paying for the prostitutes and the drugs. And I think we're supposed to think it's like illicit drugs. He's not smoking weed. He's like smoking crack.
But then Alicia wouldn't need to testify at all. Like, what difference would it take for her to testify? I didn't know he was having affairs. I didn't know he was doing drugs. Okay, that's about the same information we had as before. Like, there's no exculpatory evidence from anything that she could say. So, and the way that episode focuses on her trying to help tell the story of how he wasn't lying, it has to do with public statements he supposedly made or things he said as the state's attorney, as a public official. But again, is that really a crime? I mean, he's literally, as the state's attorney, you're just, as a prosecutor, you're a political position. And politicians inherently lie all the time. So is that a crime, I ask you?
No, but it's evidence of why we should not treat any politician like they are the savior or the messiah or infallible or anything like that, no matter whose side they are on, because they're all full of shit. Just saying.
I won't agree with that statement. That is said by my co-host, and she stands by it alone. While I think a lot of them are poor and are in it for the wrong reasons, and definitely I'm very jaded about politics, there are good people in there. There are good politicians that I've met. Some of them have risen to higher rank, some have not. And I don't want to overgeneralize there.
I mean, I am super generalizing.
I know.
Because
I'm letting you. You are welcome to your own opinions. I'm stating my difference.
I love that you just put out a disclaimer against me this time around.
That is correct.
I love it. That's so great. Okay. All right. So, politician bootlicking aside, which case do you think was stronger or kept your attention more? The home, like, representing this young kid that she, like, basically saw grow up, or this jury bribery case?
I forgot to look up if Illinois has a felony murder statute, by the way. That would be interesting to actually bother to look up, because not every state does have a felony murder statute.
Well, now you have to look it up.
Like right now?
Like right now. Yeah, look it up right now. I don't know what a good, like, TV lawyer fill-in music would be.
It does have a felony murder statute, so okay. But okay. I don't think Wisconsin has one. That was why I was somewhat second-guessing it.
Okay.
To be fair, going to a online school outside of the state of Wisconsin has led to me not studying Wisconsin-specific law very much.
Okay.
And so I'm relying a little bit on previous conversations that I've had with my father, but as far as I know, we do not have a felony murder charge.
Okay.
I could be very wrong, and I did not look that up, which I probably should have done, but that's beside the point.
Okay.
Jury tampering is juicier, but as far as the facts of the case and the legal accuracy in the rest of it, I think I was much more innately tied to the felony murder case, because that actually felt like there was some decent lawyering going on and people doing some good checking. And even the sprinkler system as your Perry Mason moment didn't feel like it was some weird out of left field thing.
Okay.
It felt like they had at least set it up and kind of gone in that direction. But I still think this flavor of the week kind of stuff, we went through 2 full trials in 2 episodes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I shouldn't say that. The other case never really went beyond preliminary hearings. So at least that had some level of accuracy. But we went through a full civil trial in the course of the other episode. Like,
yeah, don't these things just take 1 day each?
No.
Why not?
A civil trial can take sometimes between a week to 2 weeks, and given the amount of experts and medical people that likely would have been called to testify on the record about the efficacy of the drug, what it was used for, what it was assigned for, what its approval was, all of those other various things, there would have been probably at least 36 witnesses on each side, would have been my guess, and that trial was likely taken 2 weeks because of the importance of setting that up for a med-mal, well, I guess it's not a med-mal, but a product liability issue that would have been the test case for a whole bunch of other class action stuff.
So you don't feel like the timelines are accurate on any of these things?
Never. Not once in this show.
Well, this bodes well for the many episodes that we still have to go. I mean, great. I'm so excited to tell that you love this show.
23 episodes, meaning that we're through 4. That means what? We have 10 episodes left of this second season to discuss this show before we turn the page to something else. Likely lawyering or crime related or
no, if there's
politically
23
based
episodes, we've got 20 episodes, not 10.
Yeah, there would be 10 episodes left.
10 episodes of us
discussing
20 episodes of TV. Got it. See, this is why it gets a little bit confusing when it's not a 1-for-1, right? Our episodes contain 2 episodes.
Yeah, but I just don't think there's enough to talk about in these 40-minute pop episodes right now to be able to discuss one by itself for a full hour.
No. I would get bored.
Frankly, like I'm wondering if we probably should try and re-speed this up, but that's just me.
And how would you like to do that?
Going back to 3, but it's fine.
Going back to 3?
We'll stay at 2.
We could do 3.
We can take our time. We can.
Taking my time, I'm just moving on. Okay.
I mean, it's not like I have a whole lot to do else in the rest of my life, so.
No, you don't. You are just sitting around waiting.
Just waiting for you to be ready to record.
Yes. That's how that goes. All right, so you preferred...
Is that your bitter berry back there?
It's a boysenberry.
I stand by my statement.
From Knott's Berry Farm.
It's your bitter berry.
My bitter berry. Look, this is my Jossum shark. It was just my birthday a couple days ago, so...
Well, let's find out if you're able to watch this Steven Spielberg alien drama.
Oh, okay.
Sidebar?
Everybody's been asking me if I'm going to go see it.
That's not true.
You haven't asked me.
That is correct. I am everybody. I am a member of everybody.
You are the most impertinent. I was trying to say important, but it came out as impertinent, but that's also accurate.
That's better than what it could have been.
Yep.
Impotent.
Impotent. Okay.
Yeah, now that's a problem there.
Okay, so lots of people have been asking me if I'm going to see it because of E.T. And here's the problem.
Can you just answer the question?
No! What was the question?
Okay.
Am I going to see it?
You just said no, so that's fine. All right, now we can move on.
No, I said no, I can't answer the question. You said, can't you just answer the question? And I said no.
Okay.
Because I can't just answer the question. I'm going to have to see it. Fuck. And I'm very scared. It's going to be scary.
Have you seen Close Encounters?
A long time ago. I need to rewatch it.
I mean, I have a feeling this is going to be more Close Encounters than it's going to be E.T. Or War of the Worlds.
I liked War of the Worlds. I mean, them playing with the frickin' bike spokes was dumb. The clicky noises scare me. The, probe things scare me. The claws things scare me. Literally, I'm scared of aliens because of E.T. And so now he's making a serious alien invasion scary movie on purpose.
Oh, is that what it's supposed to be?
That's how it feels to me.
I didn't take it that way, because if it was like a true alien horror film, I would not be going to it.
So you are going to go see it. What if it's
really it's
scary?
A Sir Stephen movie. Of course I'm going to go see it.
I mean, that's exactly what I'm saying. Of course I'm going to go see it.
But if it was like a true horror film, no, I'm not seeing that in theaters. I'm waiting until it's on VOD where I can watch it with my window shades completely open and it's mid-Saturday and I can stop it whenever I'm petrified and need to go piss, because then it's not going to end up in soiling my pants.
Okay.
Because I'm a scaredy cat and I'm well aware of that.
And it's cute. I want to watch a scary movie with you, or a movie that you think is scary, or that you think is going to be scary and have it not be scary. So, for example, I went to see Backrooms last week, and that was really scary, but not... I wasn't scared by anything that was shown. Like, it was the psychological components of it that like wrecked me.
If you want a good example, the vampire shit from Sinners was more terrifying to me than anything in Weapons.
Weapons was so boring. Okay, but you liked Weapons?
I thought it was fine.
Or it didn't bother you, I guess.
No, it didn't bother me.
But the vampires and Sinners bothered you.
The specifically, them moving really quickly and then like chowing on somebody, that bothered me.
So like, you don't like any of the new zombie stuff?
I wouldn't know. I've never watched a single moment of zombie anything.
Because they're fast and scary now. They didn't used to.
Oh, okay. Then yes, I would probably. Like, if they're just moving slowly and it's like the Nazi zombie bullshit, like, that didn't bother me in the slightest. But yeah, if they're going to move like really fast and be terrifying, yeah, I probably would be.
I mean, yeah, that's what Danny Boyle did with 28 Days Later. We suddenly had.
Well, that I wasn't going to watch.
We suddenly had fast zombies. I mean, it's good. I loved it. I saw it in the theater like 4 times, but I mean, originally. But
I also really don't like seeing that much brain. It's like going into a locker room.
But it's Cillian Murphy.
I don't need to see his junk.
It's Oppenheimer when he was way younger.
Okay.
Anyway.
All I heard from the release of these sequels, like the Bone Temple and whatever else, is like how much dick there was out, and I'm like, I'm good. I don't even need. Oh, first off, like, you know, I'm not going to anything to see like extra male nudity, but I cannot think of something that is more unappealing than watching a flaccid dick bouncing around.
I think that there is a lot of appeal for the female audience.
Great. All the power to you. And men have been exploiting women in the same way in film forever. If that's good for you, by all means. But it's just not for me.
I think
that's all I'm saying.
Interesting trend.
I'm not saying I'm not saying we shouldn't have it in film. I'm saying I have no interest in seeing it.
Fair enough. I was about like, well, I'm not really interested in seeing it either, and that would be a lie. I wouldn't go see something on purpose to see it, but if it happened, I would be like, okay.
I admit, as a teenage boy, there were movies that I watched because I knew that it had nudity in it.
I also did the same thing when I was a teenage boy. I mean, when I was younger. Yes. But that was also when you still had to rent physical copies of everything.
Yes.
So.
That is true.
Yeah. Fair enough. We are so far afield.
It's like nobody's hosting the show.
Well, we can close it out now.
It's up to you. Did you have other questions you wanted to?
No, because I am worried that you don't actually like this show. So, make some predictions for moving forward, if you have any.
So I think the last time I said Peter's going to die in prison.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to upgrade that. They're going to win his appeal, but as he's being released, he's killed.
How? Oh,
some conspiracy thing.
Okay.
Like, he's supposed to be released as part of his appeal, and he gets, killed. Okay. Because I think Daniel is a slick lawyer, and I think he's got a lot more to do in this show. Like, they don't introduce a character like that, and then, especially with that guy actor, and not have him be a bigger part of the show. So I think he is a developing character.
Okay.
I think there will come a point where there will have to be a decision made where there may be a split in the firm between Will and Diane and the two factions, because that's where it feels like it's heading. And whether or not they split apart. That's also on the table for me.
Into two firms, you think?
One of them leaves or pulls out and does something else.
Well, right, because there's actually a third partner. that we haven't met. And I can't think of what the partner's name is right now.
That's okay, because you're really into spoiler territory now.
Right, I'm not spoiling anything. Unlike you.
You just did.
I did. I said there's a third partner. There's always been a third partner.
Since when? We've never been introduced.
The name of the firm has 3 names. It's not just 2 names.
It does? I don't even remember the name of the firm.
It is Lockhart, Gardner, and I can't freaking remember the name. But there's a third partner, and there's always been a third partner from the Stern, Lockhart, and Gardner is the name of the firm. And
okay.
They say it in the pilot, and they say it every single time that they talk about the firm. Stern, Lockhart, and Gardner. So I didn't give spoilers. That's literally 3 partners. We've just never met the other partner.
Also, I have nothing to support this yet, but I do think at some point Alicia and Will bone.
Based off of what? I know you're saying there's no evidence, but like, what is leading you?
It's just a feeling.
A feeling.
Yep, it's just a gut call.
You want them to bone. You want them to smooch.
Sure.
Okay.
But I think there's a camaraderie there. Like, I think he's personally invested in her success. I think she notices that. I think she's hurt by Peter, and at some point she's going to look for solace in somebody else, and the only person that's been sticking up for her that she doesn't feel isolated from.
Okay.
I've seen enough of these, like, battered women stories where they run to the safe comfort of the first man who's nice to them.
Yeah, that's a pretty standard trope.
Yeah.
Sure. Oh, I meant to ask you, by the way, what do you think of the kids? Because we get a little bit more information on the kids.
I mean, we do and we don't. Like, we don't really spend a ton of time with them yet.
I said a little bit.
I know.
Just a little bit.
I feel like them and the mother-in-law and Peter, additionally, are going to get their own episode to kind of flesh them out more at some point. Okay. I think the kids are there, again, as somewhat of a MacGuffin.
Okay.
But I don't think they're fully realized characters yet. The show has not taken a lot of time to give us a ton of story and background on a lot of the characters that are in this show yet. I think it's still trying to figure out what kind of show it is, what characters to invest in, and so that's why I keep saying about episode 10, 11, or 12, I think you'll start to see what the coalescing identity of the show is supposed to be.
Okay.
Because that's how it is for most, especially like network TV shows that don't go through nearly the level of development that like a premium drama does. Like HBO is notorious for scrapping stuff because it doesn't work. And so then they'll go back to the drawing board and we want to adapt this property, but we spend a bunch of money on something that doesn't work. We're not going to put that out. We're going to make sure that what we're putting out is actually of quality.
Okay. All right. Then last thought is, do you have any MVPs over these 2 episodes? Like either one per or one over the whole thing, or...
So I think that depends on how you're going to define the MVP. The person who's doing probably the most work and is in more of the forefront of these episodes to me is Carrie. Okay. But I think the MVP in most sports awards is usually also based on, unless you just have overwhelming stats, is usually somewhat on a popularity basis. And so if that's the case, like, I don't like Carrie. I don't, hate him, but I don't think we're supposed to like him.
Okay.
But he's carrying the most water out of anybody. Like, most of what's going on in that first episode has to do a lot with him serving as the primary litigant and the comedic response of him melting down in just basic cross-examination.
Mm-hmm.
and then his negotiating skills and the rest of it, and taking credit for winning Alicia's case, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And the second one, while he's not as directly involved, he's not in the background either. So I do think that he is, of the core characters that we're focusing on, we get about 6 of them right now that we're really focusing on from episode to episode. He's one of them.
Right. Well, and as of right now, I think I had mentioned this before, that we're going to see kind of like a cycle through of the judges, right? So judges will eventually start coming back around. So we will, when we see a specific judge, we will have a reaction going, oh, we might think things are going to go a certain way. We'll start to know more of the like opposing counsels. So we'll be seeing other not just from the state's attorney's office, but from other firms and things like that. So all of those things are coming down the line as you would expect, as you would hopefully expect, right? So we're going to see reoccurring side characters. But yeah, I think you're right about these are the main characters, and we will see what happens and how those play out. I mean, obviously I know, but I'm not going to say anything. Unlike you, when we were doing The West Wing, and I'm like, don't tell me. And you're like, I'm going to tell you anyway. So I'm not going to tell you.
What was the examples of those? Because I don't recall that happening.
With the stupid character that I didn't like. What's her name?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and you were like, no, let me tell you, she's gone. She doesn't exist. And I was like, oh, I mean, I would have been fine. I didn't like her, but I didn't need to know that she disappears.
Except I was wrong about that, which makes it doubly
even worse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have me on that one. I'll admit fault. I'll take my hair shirt now.
Okay. All right. Well, so then here's my only other question for you. At this point,
only other one.
Yes, it is the only other one. Would you still keep watching this show if you did not have to watch it for this show? Or would you be like, I'm done. It's not interesting enough. And it's okay if it's not interesting enough. Okay, so this is my...
I don't think I would, but that's because my time right now, the amount of things that I've given... I used to watch a ton of sports.
Okay.
Just peripheral sports. Basketball, hockey, whatever. And at this point, if my team is not like in it and really competitive, so thank God for the Milwaukee Brewers right now, that they're a good team, even though they can't hit home runs for shit. The fact that they're a good team has at least provided me with some like level of entertainment and something to follow during the summer when we're in the non-football season, because soccer right now, although the World Cup I will follow, I'll grant you that, but my soccer team sucked, and so I didn't watch like more than 2 of their games for about 6 months, which is rare for me because I didn't miss a game for like 9 years.
Wow, okay.
Maybe even longer. It might have been a decade. So for me to just give up on that while I'm in the middle of law school was a thing, but you kind of have to make sacrifices and put stuff on the back burner. So right now, if I were picking up this show for the first time and trying to watch through it, no, but it's also a little hard for me to say that because the way I'd be watching this show is probably 6 or 7 episodes at a time.
So doing this in
the more gradual fashion, episode by episode by episode kind of thing, doesn't give me the ability to watch it as a longer form version that I can grow with the characters and give them their true space. So it's harder to answer that question. If you're just asking where I'd be right now and that I could watch the first 4 episodes and then decide whether I'm continuing on with the show, probably not. But that's also not how I would normally watch anything to see whether it was decent or not. But this doesn't grab me in the same way that other shows that I've suggested to you have grabbed me before that are much more, I guess, in line with a modern version of premium TV. Mm-hmm. If that makes sense.
Sure. That totally makes sense to me. It's interesting watching it now and parsing it out slower, right? Because when I watched it, I could just consume the whole thing, right? And then also thinking this was a network show, so then it was only coming out weekly, which seems laborious to us now.
Some shows still do that model. I mean, there's plenty of stuff that...
I mean, no, with this show in particular.
Yeah, okay.
Right? Like, in the moment, sure. Now, slowing it down, even though we're watching 2 episodes at a time, still feels too slow.
Sure.
So I'm with you on this, on a rewatch going, this doesn't feel as pertinent as it did when I was watching it the first time. Now, is that because I'm older, because I'm jaded? Or it's just not as good as I remember. I mean, it could be all of those things.
Or you've been exposed to stuff that maybe is a slightly higher quality. And I don't mean that to knock this show per se, but I think that a lot of the stuff that we watch on a day-to-day basis right now is of just a higher level floor than some of the network stuff that was coming out around this time and space.
Sure. I mean, I'm thinking about, like, my favorite shows that I've ever watched. And this is not... I enjoy it a bunch, and I wanted to see... Well, we'll see what happens right as we get further into the season. Because I remember being quite obsessed with the characters and the way things kind of play out. But, like, my favorite TV show of all time that I still think about every single day, there's, like, still not a day that goes by that I don't think about Westworld. That's a completely different type of show, right? Or even things like West Wing.
And I usually track this based on the Emmys. For me, is usually a good barometer of what is quality. Mm-hmm. Maybe not always getting what, in my opinion, is the best show right on a year-to-year basis, but at least the nominees feel like they're important shows, they're quality shows. Mm-hmm. We can coalesce around a bunch of them. Mm-hmm. So this year, in 2009, Mad Men, Big Love, Breaking Bad, Damages, Dexter, House, and Lost were the nominees for Outstanding Drama. Now, compare that, and I know amongst those, you're talking about Mad Men and Breaking Bad as 2 of the great TV series potentially of all time. Mad Men ended up winning Outstanding Drama Series. I think that was near its, like, first year or something to that effect. And I think Dexter and House have their definite moments, but they're still of a different time and era. House and Lost being network TV shows feels like a completely different era. Here are the Outstanding Drama Series from this last year. The Pitt, Andor, The Diplomat, which is a higher level TV show than half of the network stuff at this point, but it's on Netflix. The Last of Us, Paradise, Severance, Slow Horses, and The White Lotus. That was last year. I would say that on a comparison point to point, the higher degree of quality, what they're exploring, the production value, the day-to-day is just operating at a completely higher level across the board of all of these shows. And that's not to say that, like, obviously Breaking Bad and Mad Men were, like, here, but the difference between where they were at and then, like, the mid-tier and then the low tier of even just those nominees compared to... And the 10 that I even mentioned, that's not even talking about Outstanding Comedy Series, where you have a ton of other ones that are made at a much higher level quality. Shrinking, Nobody Wants This, at least the first season. Hacks, The Bear, Abbott Elementary. Like, there's very little that's on network television. Back in Outstanding Comedy Series at the time, you had Entourage, which feels so dated at this point. Like, I loved that show when it was on, but I just cannot go back and watch it because it's so fucking cringy. Weeds. I know that everybody, and including myself, loves How I Met Your Mother and The Office, but 30 Rock was the best comedy of that year.
I've never watched it.
Those were the network comedies. I think on an average day, I'd much rather watch Hacks or Shrinking.
Okay, fair enough. And you know what's funny? With all the love that people have for Breaking Bad, I watched it well after the fact, so I could just watch the whole thing. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna see how this plays out. And then when I was done, and I was like, I was entertained. I will never watch this again. It bothers me. It bothers me that people are obsessed with this show, and that is okay. People are allowed to be obsessed,
of course,
with it. But I'm just like, this is not for me. Like,
I heard about that show, and it became big while I was in college. My roommate ran through it, and it took me 4 tries to actually truly get into it. I think the furthest I got before I started to actually finally watch it in full, I think I got through season 2 and just stopped. But when I was in Germany 4 years ago, where I didn't have anything else, I didn't really have a great book with me, I just had German Netflix, and that was it. And so it was Breaking Bad. I watched 4 seasons in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And that is how because I was basically isolated with one show, and I was able to push past it. So that was the only way I was going to watch that show. And I feel very much the same. I watched it once. Season 5 was a huge letdown for me. I think the show peaked at the end of 4, and I'm okay with never returning to it ever again.
Yeah, it's totally not for me either. So, anyway, you saying that you wouldn't necessarily stop watching the show because that's not how you operate, but also saying you would stop watching the show. It's okay to that makes sense to me, right? That this is not right now holding your interest. You would, regardless of being on us doing this show, you would still continue watching at least for a few more episodes to basically see if it's able to catch your interest to justify finishing it out.
I think it has enough dropped in here right now that I would be willing to give it a few more episodes. It's not to me like Friends or Seinfeld, where after 5 or 6 episodes, I just felt both of them were completely unfunny, and I was more than happy to move on. I'm like, why do people think these are the greatest things ever? I don't get it. But that has to do more with sitcom and humor and whatever else, where I am most definitely a comedy snob. I've said so much on my regular program, and I will say it here and probably several more times. I am a comedy snob. I recognize that. But I found neither show funny, and I found them rather pointless and vapid. So I was ready to move off of those really quickly.
You weren't watching those when they were contemporary, so it's interesting because I remember being in middle school and watching Seinfeld, new episodes of Seinfeld, and we're all laughing and peeing our pants and talking about it the next day, and then as soon as it comes out on DVD, we're buying it and obsessively watching it, and it seemed insane that we were obsessively rewatching a current show, right? Because you got used to watching whatever was in syndication, right? And things just being played over and over again, but you didn't get to choose. And then I think I've seen probably every episode of Seinfeld multiple times, and I swear if I ever see another episode of Seinfeld ever again, I'm going to vomit, because it's not funny to me now. It was hilarious to me when it was new. Friends, I liked at the time because it was a cultural phenomenon where they looked the way everybody looked at that time. People wanted the Rachel haircut, and it was...
I get it. I'm not trying to judge anybody else who liked either of those things.
I'm saying that I also didn't like the humor either. At the time, I didn't think it was funny, and I still don't think it's funny. And the fact that it's getting more and more popular now, I judge.
Whatever. You know, I there's so much TV available, especially because you can go back and watch older programs like that. That to each their own. I mean, that's more than anything. The death of the monoculture is just the freedom of choice of so many things. There is so much content at everyone's fingers at any one time.
Right, and then I'm just gonna go watch like Hogan's Heroes or Wyatt Earp because I like the old weird television that nobody watches anymore. Well, I mean, Dana and I do get along, I'm pretty sure. Hi, Dana.
He doesn't watch this show.
I know. That's why I said it, because I knew that immediately you were going to say right after he doesn't watch the show, so that I could also say he doesn't watch the show. So we are wrapping things up here, and we're just pulling the plug because we are out of time. So next time we're going to be covering episodes 5 and 6. Do you have anything else that you would like to say, Tom?
Blah,
blah, blah, blah.
Blah, blah, blah.
Perfect. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.
Adjourned.
Yay, we did it.